the bad guy's talking to him, he's like, well, don't do me wrong, man. I'm armed, and I'll freaking do you right here. And he's making all these threats and shit, and we're like, all right.
That's cute.
Okay, threats are fun, because that means I do whatever I want to now.
Bosnia, can you pull up the 92 to 95 Bosnia genocide, Alessi? So Bosnia had this, in the wake of the wall falling and Yugoslavia breaking up, had this horrible genocide, and Kosovo did as well in 1999. But, you know, so many people were killed. Here it is. The Bosnian genocide refers to either the Srebrenica massacre or the wider crimes against humanity and ethnic cleansing campaign throughout areas controlled by Army of Republika. I'm not going to say it. Aaron, you want to pronounce that one? Srpska? Srpska? Right there. Srpska? Is that?
Srpska.
Srpska? Okay. During the Bosnian War of 1992 to 1995, the events in Srebrenica in 1995 include the killing of more than 8,000 Bosnian Muslim men and boys, as well as the mass expulsion of another 25,000 to 30,000, therefore ethnically cleansing Bosniak civilians by VRS units under the command of General Ratko Mladic. Maybe I'm thinking the wrong guy, but I think he was later found guilty at The Hague. Right? Is that the guy who killed himself? Like drank the? No, that was a crow.
No.
Never mind.
Yeah,
but I think that guy was found guilty. So this thing, again, happens like less than 50 years after the Holocaust. And then I don't know much about the history after that, though. So when you go there 7 years later, are there still serious tensions among some of these groups, or is it more
Well, probably
peace?
amongst the groups. You didn't really see it where we were as much. I don't know if it was on the outskirts of all this stuff that they were dealing with each other more or less here and there, but there was still tension. But I don't feel like I ever even got close to getting an engagement of any kind, honestly. I mean, it felt like it's more of that peace.
Got it.
Showing force, just doing what you do, helping out the populace, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Now, this is a tension-filled year, though. 02 is we're fresh off 9/11. We're actively in Afghanistan, which I do want to talk about some of the paramilitary stuff there. But we're also, March 2003 ended up being Iraq, which obviously we're going to talk a lot about. But, you know, you're this highly trained military killer, right? Like your job is to go in there and kill bad guys. Going into places that used to be hot zones that right now are not hot zones and not a part of the active campaign of like, let's eradicate radical terrorism.
Yeah.
And there's a whole war going on in Afghanistan, and you literally were there on 9/11. Like, was there a part of you like, what the fuck am I doing here? Can you put me in the game, please?
Well, yeah, that did cross my mind. But I knew it was going to be that way from the get-go just because of the way everything's configured. I knew everybody would be in the mix at some point, but it's just like any military unit. Everything gets fed in because there's also a follow-on plan. So they put the guys that they think know the terrain best, blah, 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 like I was saying. But they've also got a follow-on plan for all these other units, and they've got it all scheduled out to where each one's going to get to a certain place at a certain time and all that. You know, that way you have your units dispersed properly across all fields of battle, and so you don't get overwhelmed, too, but also be highly effective. Like the first time I went to Kosovo, I didn't feel like I did much of anything. I just felt like I just did that kind of stuff. Lived in a house with a bunch of Russians, did the Serbian trace, we did win the hearts and minds because we played with little kids. We had chain link fence. There's a house we had in town, but we had chain link fence around it. All the little kids from neighborhoods would come running down. Their parents would bring them down there to stay with us. And we'd play soccer with them and all this other stuff. Because the dogs were real bad about getting them, and you know, people were beating them up and stuff sometimes. So they'd stay with us. We'd play with them, let them watch TV and all that, and then their parents would show back up at some point and escort them home. So we're winning hearts and minds that way. Did medical treatment to a whole bunch of, which we always do. Every country we ever go to, we try to help out medically because we have the resources and the equipment and stuff. But the second time I went to Kosovo, I was on a recon team, surveillance team, blah, blah. And then we were actively hunting people.
Oh,
So it's a whole different matter.
Let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
what went on there?
The one guy, now, would I call this guy a huge terrorist? Because he seemed like a terrorist, until I went to Iraq and all this other stuff, and all of a sudden you're like, nope, that's what a terrorist looks like.
Diet terrorist.
Yeah, this over here is this is the Goodwill clothing store terrorist over here. And he'd fired RPGs at Camp Bondsteel, which is in Kosovo, which is American base. And not when I was there. He fired them at some point. And so we
wouldn't happen on your watch. It wouldn't have done it to you.
I live downtown, so you can fire on that military base over there. We'll probably know about it, bro. So you don't want that. And so we're actively hunting these guys down. We knew kind of who they were, blah blah blah. So we started hunting them down, started pulling surveillance on them, and we ended up deciding to do this pretty cool takedown in a restaurant. So we had two guys that were. They'd somehow got to know him. They played like they were somebody else. I don't remember who they played like they were. They're white guys. So they could fit in, anywhere over there. They spoke the languages and stuff. And they said, meet us at this restaurant. And they'd met them there like 4 or 5 different occasions. Gave them some money, this and that and there. Until the guy that we wanted showed up. Him and the other guy. We mainly wanted this one dude. And he'd been shot at some point through I think somebody shot him in the big toe, believe it or not. I'm not even kidding you. And he had a serious injury to his big toe. That's all I know. And I'll tell you why it's funny in a minute. Besides just that. So he has them meet him at the restaurant. And as he did that, we're in there already. We're set up and we picked a time of day where it's very, populated. So here's crew over here, crew over here, crew over here. So our guys are talking to him, and to distract him at this given point, the key is to, when it's time, like our guy goes, he's a special forces operator, obviously. He said, when you've got him and I've got him where you need to be, I'm going to lay my hat on the table and you guys do what you do. I'm just going to scoot away from the table as things go. Well, while the bad guy's talking to him, he's like, well, don't do me wrong, man. I'm armed, and I'll freaking do you right here. And he's making all these threats and shit, and we're like, all right.
That's cute.
Okay, threats are fun, because that means I do whatever I want to now, and without hurting any, civilians. So we said, no firearms. We have them, but we're not going to shoot anybody. We're just go over and break him. And so we're backed up, and all of a sudden my boy's like, okay, and he hands him, here's your free camera. He hands him this pretty fancy camera and all this other stuff. And he gives him some batteries and stuff, so he has to screw with it. And he's looking down like this, and my boy sets his hat down. And I jump out of this freaking, no, we all jump out. It's a race. So see who can get there first. Jump out, jump on that table, and I just kick that dude right in the chest. Boom! And he flips backwards in his chair. I think he had a leg injury of some type too. I can't remember. He had something wrong with his leg too.
Poor guy.
And that was a gunshot wound, something else with his toe. I don't remember what, but it's messed up.
You just pulled landscaping.
So, there you go. Poor landscaping, man. Rebar. And so anyway, he flips back. We pile on top of him, grab up everybody and wrestle him down. And pick him up, put him up against the wall. And I'm leaning on him real hard. And we're searching on him and all this stuff. And this dude is squalling because I'm leaning right on that freaking leg. I wasn't even doing it on purpose. But we're searching. We're squeezing it, and all this. And he ain't liking that.
What are the people doing in the restaurant?
They just kind of backed up. Like,
they're used to this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know how it is.
It is another day.
Yeah, I don't care. It's like in a village in Iraq, you just kind of like, take him. He's trouble. I don't like him. And so rolled this dude up, got him, a couple other dudes, grab him up, throw him in the back of the damn, what do we call those? Pajero. The back of a Pajero 4-door SUV. Throw him back there. I'm sitting with my sideways to the back hatch, and he's sitting this way between two SF dudes. And all of a sudden, he's going to be cool as shit all of a sudden. I don't know what his status was, but I hold a man forward like this, and he's like, so, you like that he's called it M16. You like that M16? Mm-hmm. A lot. He's like, okay. You use it? I was like, here's how you take it off safe. He's like, okay, thank you. I was like, click, there you go, shut up. And so we took him on Camp Bondsteel, went to the isolation facility, and I'm anxious to get rid of this dude. Oh, here's the other thing. The car is starting to stink bad.
Oh, he took a shit?
Like somebody pooed.
Mm.
And in this case, not pooed, but something, whatever, way past that is.
And what do you mean way past that?
Like volume-wise, a poo is something a baby does. Whatever this guy did is something like, I don't know, something over in Africa does. And make it solid liquid.
Don't blame Africa here, okay? It's unnecessary.
And so we get him up there, we load him up, get him up there at the counter, and this female comes out, army girl, and she says, I said, here you go. Here's the guy. Here's his picture. Here's all his stuff. Here's the paperwork. Here's that. He's yours. You take him with you.
Now, was this at this point like a black site?
No.
It's take him to a good spot.
No. The black sites are elsewhere. But
I mean, we had those things around Europe too.
Well, they don't require paperwork though. That's the cool thing about those guys. This right here, this is like to make somebody look good in their government, like he's taking action. That's really what it comes down to. So we drop him off, and as the female's like, okay, we got him and this and we got him zip tied and stuff. And I said, we can cut his zip ties wherever you want to do. I mean, whatever suits you. And she's like, oh my God, did he shit himself? I was like, I don't know.
It's your problem now.
I'll sign this paper as fast as I can too. I'm like, I don't know. I don't
I don't want to touch him. I don't want to see him.
No, and I just turned around and walked out the door real
I want
quick.
to smell him.
And so it's like 4 days later, I've already forgotten about the dude. I'm in the chow hall, and here comes that female walking back up with a couple of the dudes that worked there. They're like, dude, we stripped that dude down, had to hit him with a water hose, and it was grueling. Stopped up the drain, did all this other stuff. I was like, and the thing was, I was wondering why he's walking all weird. And of course, this bullet wound in his leg's infected. And but he's got a potato stuck on his big toe.
A potato?
A potato. I don't know what for. She goes, we get back and he's got this big house shoe on with a potato stuck on it because he'd done something to his toe.
Ingenuity.
And it's super duper infected. So.
Hell if I know.
They put a potato on it.
Maybe he just wanted to make sure the front of his shoe was filled the whole way. I don't know.
But it was ridiculous. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but we'll be bringing some more of them over. So
thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.